She married him in the dark. Not for love, but to save her family. But the moment she whispered "I do," Elora didn't become a bride. She became a target. Because Damien Blackwood wasn't just a billionaire. He was a man with enemies, enemies who knew her name before she even stepped inside his mansion. And on the night of their wedding, the alarms went off. Someone had broken in. Someone who wasn't after Damien, but after her. And this is the moment Elora realized, she didn't marry into wealth. She married into war. Elora stood trembling in the corridor. Her dress clung to her skin. She had barely caught her breath when Damien Blackwood spoke, still facing away from her. "You're late," he said calmly. His voice carried enough weight to make her freeze entirely. Elora swallowed hard. I came as fast as I could," she whispered. Damien finally turned. His cold gray eyes met her shaking figure with an unreadable intensity. "You almost didn't come at all," he said. "But you did. Which means you accept the terms." Those words pressed heavily against her chest. Her thoughts raced painfully: her mother's hospital bills, her father's debt, her younger brother's school fees. All of them, gone. Cleared in one night. By him. And in exchange, she had to marry him. Tonight. Her voice cracked. "I don't have a choice." Damien stepped closer, lowering his gaze to her trembling features. "Everyone has a choice, Elora." She shook her head, tears pooling in her eyes. "Not when the people you love are dying." For a brief moment, a single heartbeat, something softened in his face. But it disappeared almost instantly, replaced by that same cold resolve. "Follow me," he said. 3 hours earlier, the storm had begun its assault on the Blackwood estate. Thunder roared violently across the sky as Elora ran toward the iron gates, drenched and desperate. Her breath came out in sharp bursts. She banged her fists against the metal, shaking with fear and urgency. "Open the gate. Please open it," she cried. No one usually approached Blackwood Mansion at night. The guards stared at her uncertainly, until the gate slowly creaked open on their own, as though something unseen had beckoned her in. Elora's heart raced as she stepped through the opening. Every instinct told her to turn around, but she forced her legs forward. Inside the mansion, everything felt unnaturally quiet. Servants paused mid-step to stare at her, their whispers drifted behind her like ghosts. The chandeliers burned bright overhead, yet the air felt cold. Her footsteps echoed as she hurried down the hall. And at the end of it stood Damien Blackwood, the man everyone feared, the man whose world she was about to enter without ever understanding the cost. Back in the present, Damien guided Elora into a private room. There was no music, no decoration, just a registrar standing beside a heavy contract laid out on a table. Damien picked up a pen and held it out to her. "Sign." Elora's hands shook as she stared at the papers. Her voice was barely a breath. "Why me?" Damien didn't pause to consider his answer. "Because 3 weeks ago, you came into my office and begged for a job, not for money. You asked for work. You didn't want to be pitted. You wanted to survive." Her eyes stung. She looked down. "And she signed." Damien took the pen back, his hand steady as he placed his signature beneath hers. The registrar cleared his throat. "By law, you are now husband and wife." The word struck Elora like a cold blade. Wife. She felt trapped. Claimed. Bound to a man whose past she did not know and whose power everyone else feared. Damien stepped closer and spoke quietly. "Elora Blackwood. Come. There is much you need to understand." He led her to a private elevator, and the doors closed behind them. Damien pressed a button labeled B13. Elora frowned. The basement. No, Damien answered. The vault. Her pulse jumped. Why are we going down there? Damien turned his head slightly. Because marrying me is not the danger. It's what follows. The elevator descended. When it opened, Elora was met with something she had never imagined: rows of encrypted systems, maps, data feeds, and men working in tense silence. Her breath caught. What is this? Damien walked forward with an air of authority that felt almost inhuman. My world. He looked at her with chilling finality. And from tonight, it's your world too. Elora's breath caught in her chest as she stood at the threshold of Damien's hidden world. She wasn't sure what she expected a billionaire to show his new bride, but it certainly wasn't this, a vast, secret network humming with encrypted information and silent intensity. Men spoke in sharp, clipped tones, their eyes glued to streaming data. Elora felt impossibly small. Damien didn't give her time to adjust. He simply began walking, as if she were meant to follow without question. And she did. Her steps were slow, uncertain, the weight of her signature on that marriage document still fresh in her bones. Damien.
Damien?
She whispered, her voice barely holding itself together. What is all this? Damien didn't look back. He simply answered in that deep, calm voice that revealed nothing. My operations. Elora swallowed hard. Operations for what? He finally stopped walking. His posture stiffened, and when he looked at her, there was a seriousness in his eyes she had never seen before. Elora, he said quietly, you married into a life you don't yet understand. But you will. Her fingers curled into her palms. You're talking like this is bigger than money. It is bigger than everything you know, Damien replied. One of the men approached them quickly. He bowed his head slightly. Sir, the package has arrived. Damien nodded once. Secure it in chamber 9. No one touches it until I authorize. The man hurried away. Elora's confusion only grew. Damien, what package, what chamber? She paused. What do you really do? Silence hung between them for a long moment. Damien studied her face, as if weighing whether she could bear the truth. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. I control information, Elora. Information that governments hide. Information that destroys empires. Information people kill for. Elora felt her knees weaken. So you're some kind of spy. Damien almost smiled. Spies work for others. I work for myself. She took a shaky step back. Damien, this isn't what I thought. I married you because I had no choice, but I never agreed to be dragged into this. Damien's expression hardened instantly. You married me, Elora. You bear my name. And whether you like it or not, this world is now tied to you. Her heart slammed against her ribs. What does that mean? Am I in danger? He looked at her with a seriousness edged by something disturbingly soft. Everything connected to me has always been in danger. Elora felt the ground tilt beneath her. This is too much. I didn't ask for this life. And I didn't ask for a wife, Damien replied sharply. Yet here we are. Tears stung her eyes. Then why choose me? Why not any other woman willing to throw herself at your feet? Damien inhaled deeply. For the first time since she met him, he looked conflicted. Because, he said, you're the only one who wasn't trying to use me. That silenced her. He continued, voice steadier now. You were desperate, yes, but you came to me 3 weeks ago with dignity. You asked for work, not charity. Everyone else I meet wants money, power, or access. You wanted to survive. Elora blinked rapidly, trying to keep herself from crying. And you think that makes me strong enough for this? I think it makes you different, he said flatly. And I need someone different. Elora opened her mouth to speak, but a sudden alarm rang through the underground chamber, low, pulsing, and urgent. Damien's entire demeanor shifted. What now? He muttered. One of the operatives ran toward him. Sir, we have an intrusion on the east perimeter. Unauthorized heat signatures detected. Elora felt her stomach drop. Damien turned to her sharply. Elora. Stay close to me. Do not wander. What's happening? She asked, voice shaking. There are people, Damien said, who would do anything to get what I protect.